Stormers' unbeaten run was finally ended. We had 2 games called off in South Africa. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. First up, we had Benetton 22, Bulls 44. Benetton were actually winning this one at halftime 9-6, all penalties. Then Bulls in the second half, break from the scrum half puts Norchi. I can't pronounce the guy's name properly, but one of the second rows, he goes over under the sticks for a try for the Bulls. Benetton, though, they kept in the game for a lot of it. They were in it to about 50 odd minutes. Next try then for the Bulls comes on 50 minutes. They're very close to the post, and Lowe manages to power over right under the post. They do check just in case, because as he's grounding the ball, it looks like he's maybe about to drop it, but it seems like he doesn't lose contact with the ball all the way down, so it's fine. Then Benetton get their try from Zuliani. This one, they're attacking close to the Bulls post, and he just picks a really good line, runs onto a ball, and gets himself under there. Benetton, I think then at that point, 22-23, I think was the score, or something like that. From there out, though, Bulls able to pull away. Bit of a cliche, really, for Italian teams. The national team or the URC teams were in a game for about 60 minutes and then they fall off. Now, we've seen that Benetton have produced better than that previous to this, but that seemed to be reverting to type a bit today. So Bulls started out on points then. The first one went to Wessels. They had a 5-meter line out. Go for the line out, then they're going for the maul. It looks like the guy that caught the ball in the line out, he comes down and the ball is kind of dislodged from his hands and skips across the back of somebody else in the maul and ends up in Wessel's hands. Doesn't look like it goes forward or anything like that. Wessels then squeezes in the corner. They do have a bit of a look at whether he had a foot in touch, but they decide that everything was okay. Kotsia then adds the bonus try with about 5 minutes to go, scored from close range. And just to add a little bit of icing on top, Jacobs gets a try in the last minute. Creel makes a break up the centre. He's got options left and right. He goes for Jacobs, and Jacobs has just a bit of a stroll in. So after that one, Bulls will be happy to get back to winning ways. Benetton, they've got to produce better than this, and they will in the future, and they will catch out a few more teams at home, but this just wasn't their day. Next up, we have Connacht 36, Scottish 14. So there's a full review of this one on the channel if you want to have a look at it. It's about 17 minutes long, because sometimes when I start talking about rugby, I don't know when to shut up. But let's give you a bit of a shorter version this time. So Scarlets in their own 22 in the first minute, going for a clearing kick. It's charged down by Murray. Ball squirts in over the line. He gets there first, grounds it for the try. Next, we have pretty much only bit of quality that Scarlets produced an attack in this game. There's a bit of kick tennis going on for a while, and there's a wayward kick. McNichols gets it. He runs it back, goes past Hansen, beats another defender as well. They're in behind. He pops the ball off to Evans, and Evans goes into the corner. And that was really the only threat that Scarlets produced for the rest of the game. They were pretty poor, especially in the second half. Before halftime, though, Connacht do get another try through Hansen. Connacht had a scrum under the posts. They almost blew the chance by trying to go off the back of the scrum and getting in each other's way. They managed to recycle it. Carty put in a decent pass to find Hansen in space out on the wing. Hansen has a one-on-one, then beats his man, and he goes in to score. Into the second half then. So the big talking point, certainly from Scarlet's point of view, Connacht are on the Scarlet's line. They're pounding the line, and they've got advantage for 2 different penalties. Referee blows his whistle. Turns out that it's actually for foul play by Connacht. Boyle had pulled Price over the ruck. He was attempting to roll him out of the way. Instead, he actually pulls him over the ruck and onto his head. He gets a yellow card for that. Scarlet's players and fans screaming for a red card, and I can see why they would as well. For me, I thought it was a yellow card, but again, could be just a bit of Irish bias on that. but I talk about that more in the longer video. Connacht then down to 14 men at the time, and they managed to score a try through Ongie. It was kind of a driving maul and then a break off, and then he gets over with a couple of mates behind pushing him over. Then we have more Connacht pressure, ends up with 2 yellow cards to the Scarlets and a penalty try, and that's the bonus try score for Connacht. And then they're able to then add another try as well through Hansen. This one was Scarlets were attacking. Game's already gone. They're not going to get even a losing bonus point out of this, but they're trying to at least get another try. Move breaks down. Carty kicks the ball up the field. Hansen gets there first. He kicks it on, and then he's in a bit of a foot race with McNichols. They seem to both get to the ball at the same time, but the TMO decides Hansen grounded it just before him. Coming out of this, Connacht going to be happy with a bonus point win at home. Scarlets, they'll be talking about the red card, but really it was the lack of threat that it had going forward is going to be an issue, and the fact that Connacht were able to find gaps in their defence as well. Next time was Zebre 19, Edinburgh 38. So this one, Zebre never really looked threatening in this, even though they did score 3 tries. But they were all kind of at times where Edinburgh had a healthy lead and there was no real threat of any kind of comeback. So to start off, Edinburgh on attack. They're in the 22. McBurney spots a gap. He picks from the base of a ruck and just shows pretty good pace to get over for a hooker and goes over under the posts. I don't know what was going on with the replays of this. And it's the official replay as well, or highlights, should I say. They basically just skip over to Edinburgh being 19-0 up, and they showed the red card incidents, which was Peltzer. Again, not great highlights. You just see kind of some footage from far away, then Peltzer getting his red card and leaving the field. But it looked like it was probably a dangerous clear out at a ruck, and he kind of charged in and made contact with the head of an Edinburgh player, so he gets sent off. I can't tell you about Hodgson and Gooson's tries that happened before that, other than they did happen. So Zebre down to 14 men. Then we have McBurney gets his second try then. I think that was kind of more conventional. It was kind of a driving maul and he goes in at the back. Zebre do get a try through Fusco. It's kind of the ball is kicked forward and Edinburgh are very hesitant in defence, and he's able to get there first, collects the ball and goes over. It looked like Edinburgh should have really covered that, but they didn't. Then we have a couple more tries actually Edinburgh scored another try before then. Again, we didn't see on the replay, but we did see the try for Curry, which was they showed pretty good hands to get him over. And Zebre's last try as well for Trula, they showed pretty decent hands as well. But again, and he went in the corner, but again, the game was done by then. So Zebre being competitive at home for a lot of the season, this was not one of those games. Edinburgh, second game in a row now where they piled on the tries and piled on the points. They're looking very good going forward, but still you would worry a little bit about the defence when they meet stronger opposition. Then we come to the postponed games. So Lions versus Glasgow and Sharks versus Ulster, both called off because of outbreaks of E. coli and norovirus in the two visiting camps. From what they said, these games are postponed rather than cancelled, which means that they will try to rearrange them at some point. But then I did see something where they talked about it may not be possible to rearrange them due to schedule clashes. Then we're into the Irish interprovincial derby between Leinster and Munster. Leinster started us off with a try from Penny. It took a while to actually get there. It was a bit of kind of an arm wrestle to start with. Basically, he drove over under the post with some help behind them. Then Munster get a yellow card. It was Knox with a dangerous clear out at a ruck, he gets 10 minutes in the bin. But while they're actually down to 14 players, Munster scored their try. So they're on attack. And, when you see the name Coombs down for a Munster try, you think, oh, Gavin Coombs probably did his usual thing, driving in from close range. But actually this time he is close to the line, but he gives the pass to his cousin Liam, and it's actually a pretty nice pass as well, finds him out on the wing. Liam goes in the corner, and Munster were leading at 13-7 after that. Leinster, though, did come back at them in the second half. So Sheehan got his almost obligatory try at this stage. I think it's about his 6th of the season. He's at the back of a driving maul. He breaks off and he's able to power his way over. Then Luke McGrath, scrum half, decides that he can do the same thing as well a bit later on. So he takes a ball from the back of a stalled maul and he drives his way over as well. Then the final one was Russell, the substitute. There were good hands and a decent offload from Doris to put him away in the corner. Leinster, they're going to be happy with the bonus point win out of this one. Munster did look better. Carby is looking better at 10 as well. He's looking kind of, I think he just needs a run of games really without getting an injury. And he's going to come back to the form that he had a few seasons ago. They looked a bit better in defence. Their attacks are starting to come together as well. They were causing some problems for Leinster. From Leinster point of view, I think that the thing that Leinster take away from this, or everybody should take away from this, is Leinster are probably the best team in the URC when it comes to switching in non-frontline guys. They just slot in and they play as if they've been playing in the team every week. And it's so easy for them to make changes to their team and not have that affect their results. So they're going to be very happy with that. Next time we have Cardiff 30, Stormers 24. So Stormers 15 game unbeaten run comes to an end in Cardiff. That's, I believe, 3 wins on the bounce for Cardiff as well. So they're really on the up. The first try of the game to Cabango was kind of like, it was a mix between a crossfield kick but also a punt down the field, because it wasn't the way you would imagine a crossfield kick where the 10 is literally kicking, directly across the pitch into space for someone to get it. He was actually kicking further down the pitch, across the pitch and kind of diagonally deep into the 22. Cabango got there first, collects the ball and dives over. I thought he had time and space to maybe get in a bit closer, because in the end the conversion was missed. In terms of the result, it didn't affect at all, but he certainly probably should have tried to get in a bit closer. Then we have the Stormers. So the Stormers scored 4 tries, the first of which was a drive close to the line, and Cardiff really struggled with the Stormers maul. Like the Stormers scored 3 of the 4 tries came from pretty much exactly the same thing. They get a maul going. Cardiff cannot halt the momentum at all, and they get over and they score the try. So that was the first one. The second one then for Zas was a nice little kick over, and Zas was there to collect it halfway across the 22. He collects it and then is able to go in from there. Next try then for Cardiff, again, was another crossfield kick. This time kind of a bit more conventional. Priestley to Harries, who collects the ball and is able to go in the corner. Then Stormers score another driving maul try through Zaba, his second of the game. And coming up on 60 minutes then, they score another try, pretty much almost exactly the same. Line out, maul, drive, all the momentum with them. Cardiff not able to halt them. They go over and they get to try. But even though they scored 4 tries, it wasn't enough for them to get the win, because Priestland was just keeping the scoreboard ticking over with penalties all the way through. He adds another 2 penalties from there, because it's 24 each at the time. Probably thought that Storm was going to come back and pinch it, but Cardiff were able to hold out and get the win. They're going to be very happy with that. Stormers obviously not going to be happy to lose. It's not something that happens to them very often, and they're going to want to bounce back in the next round. Final game of the round then was Dragons 32, Ospreys 25. So this is another one where the official URC highlights were absolutely terrible. Like, we don't see North's try. North scores a try the first minute. It's good to see him back playing regularly and scoring tries as well. Then for the Dragons, Wainwright scores a try. I'm trying to remember what his one was like, because I'm not even sure if we even saw that one on the highlights either. But basically, Wainwright scores a try, and about 3 minutes later, Baldwin scores a try. We don't see that one. So the two that were featured, and I at least remember, were Dyer's tries. So Dyer's just been called into the Welsh squad, and he celebrated with two pretty decent tries. So the first try was Dragons put the ball through the hands. Dyer then is one-on-one going into the corner. He puts a nice stutter step in that stands up his defender, and he's able to get around him and go in for the try. And then his final try then was Ospreys are on the attack. The game is still pretty close. He managed to intercept. One of those ones where there's kind of 3 outcomes to this kind of intercept. He puts his hand up in the air and knocks the ball up. So option number 1 is he doesn't get the ball. Ospreys are able to collect, and then they're actually potentially going in for their own try. The second option then is he's not able to recollect the ball, and he gets himself possibly a penalty and a yellow card for that. Or what actually happened, which is he knocks the ball up in the air, he regathers it, and then he shows great pace then to run from about 60 metres out into the corner and get that try. There was time for Ospreys to add a try of their own through Watkin. They're close to the line. They put the ball through the hands pretty nicely. They get the overlap on the outside, and Watkin is able to go in the corner. But there wasn't time left for them to come back up to try and get another try to get the draw. Dragons are going to be happy with this, because I've talked the last few rounds about the fact that they have to start producing results rather than only performances, and they've done that there. They'll want to kick on from this now as well, and try and climb the table. Ospreys have had a very mixed start to the season, and this is just another one of those results for them. They're kind of they're kind of on the cusp of being able to challenge for the knockout spot, but they really will need to at some stage put together a nice run of results and performances as well, if that's going to become a reality. Okay, so that's the review for this week. Did your team play this week? And if they did, how did you think that they went?